Welcome back to my channel, guys, as we take a tour of the Kenya National Archives. Its opening hours are at 8 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. You can either pay cash or through e-citizen. For citizens, it's 100 bob, that's close to less than $1. And for foreigners, is 1,500 Kenya shillings, that's like approximately $15. So join me as we explore inside the National Archives. You're welcome. Hello, hi.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the Kenya National Archives.
Thank you.
The Murumbi Art Gallery.
Yes.
Courtesy of Joseph Murumbi,
Yeah.
who was the first diplomatic officer when Kenya got independence. Jomo Kenyatta appointed him as the first Minister for Foreign Affairs, and actually is the one who went the whole world opening the embassies for this country. So that one translates that he really traveled, and because he was an avid collector of making sure that he keeps and maintains the African culture, he collected anything in those countries that he went, and actually here is the man. He collected everything that looked like an African, and that's why we have got this gallery named after him to protect his legacy. And the gallery is called the Murumbi Art Gallery. It is a continental gallery because we expect things from East Africa, West Africa. So it talks about the good African culture, but diversively, not only Kenyans. We are almost like 50 tribes. In 50 tribes, and actually even the Kenyans are also shown, but the most important, Jomo Kenyatta. The word mzee you see here means a person, a senior citizen. You can't just refer to him the way you refer to children. That's why it's called Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, and this is his bust. A bust is usually the head, the neck, and the shoulders of any human being. Now this one belongs to the president. That's the presidential bust. He died in 1978, and President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, just the same as Mzee there, this Arap means Daniel, the son of Moi. He ruled for 24 good years, and that is what made us actually to change the term limit of the presidency.
And what's this?
This one is the logo of Africa. Whenever it is called Nemba, it was collected from the country called Guinea. Guinea is one of the West African country. It represents the beauty of a woman, and this is how we appreciate what the roles of women have ever done. So whenever they used to have the beauty contests, they used to have this as their logo. It represents a young beautiful lady that men are adoring in that society for marriage. You can see the soldiers are, the soldiers are nowadays. They used to fight. Yes, exactly. There you are. Yeah. This house you see here, when you want to talk about the administration in the coastal region during colonial times, you remember the coastal region was the gateway. That's where the explorers, the missionaries, the traders, and actually even the colonies, they were docking in. So which means they have got richer and diverse culture. Like this one here is the seat of a king. In the coastal region, they are called sultans. So it means that only noble people could sit here. This is a lampstand from the Comoros. When we want to talk about reducing bigger food particles into smaller particles, we use this one. This is the pestle, and this is the mortar. So which means nowadays you can go to supermarket and get related something like this. Welcome to the coastal region without using a visa or SGR. Now this is where we are now, and as I told you, like this is the Kiswahili kitchen. Yes, they are, because to avoid women fighting for the space. You know, Muslims are polygamous. So the first wife will put her things here, the second wife, the third wife, the fourth wife. Actually, they call themselves Mwana Asha, Mwana Dija, Mwana Mvua. That is to avoid fighting for the space. This one can be given as a present to a woman during a wedding session because it has got the mirror. You cannot separate ladies with the mirror. This is, if you talk about the spirituality in the coastal region, they have got, their leader is called a sheikh. A sheikh and a sultan, they are almost the same level. And this is the seat of a sheikh. only a noble, a religious noble person. Beside you here, or we just go like this is for calling people whenever they used to have their prayers. It is called sewa. If you talk of African ways of communication, which can really tell you that we have now come from far. Nowadays use the phone. This is the beauty contest enduring in the coastal region. They were won by the rich people, like that one. This is actually made from the rhino horn, very expensive to get. This is gold. So they were won just by the rich ladies in the coastal region. Their counterpart males were actually using this other side.
This one is for the males.
For the male, the treasury by the Dow trade. So you can see we have got the dagger there. You have seen Sultan Joho putting on like this one. This is ceremonial dagger. It is a weapon and it cannot be used for killing somebody or fighting. They are just used for prestige in the Swahili treasuries. You can see ladies in the coastal region, they like using the thinner issue, yes, for beauty for the ladies. This one up to date is still there, and you can see the photographs looks the cold buildings of the coastal region. As I said, they are gender sensitive. As you talk to about a lady, also men are involved. This is what can be given as a present to a man in the coastal region during the wedding season. This cloth, this lasso here, it is very diverse in its use. For example, it is a gift cloth, which means you can easily buy it to your mother or to your wife as a gift. It has got 101 uses. So it usually depends on whom I'm talking about. If the children are here, I explain up to number 88. When I can see newly wedded people, I continue with the explanation of the uses of this one. And you buy it depending on the writings that is there. Like this one reads that this person is welcoming people in the wedding of the daughter. Still, if you talk about slave trade, it's a very big topic in history. These are the treasury boxes that people used to carry for their bosses. Actually, Canvas did this work. They are the long distance traders. So it's good to have this so that we can show. Still on the coastal region, we have got this as Giriama commemorative posts, which means when somebody dies, the way the Christian put the cross on somebody's grave, they put this one. But depending on how you are, like if you are faceless like this, which means you are having nothing in the society. But if they put a face for you, which means you are a very important person, and they can still remember the loss that they went. The drums you see here, these are African musical instruments. They are here to show exactly some, like the drums were used for communication, for calling people. But you can have, nowadays you have got a DJ, but we can tell you actually this is an African DJ. Plus an African dancer. It is made, this is molten metal. So as we compare what happens now, we can tell you this thing started a very long time ago. And then there we have got the real African musical instruments. Actually, you can see from the wall here. Yes, this is a drum made from the skin of a reptile. It can be hit hard until women stop cooking for their husband and they run to the occasion because of the beats. So Africans, we used to have our own ways of entertainment. Comparatively, now we have got very expensive entertainment corners. If you ask me around, what is the most favorable artifact that cherishes? Joseph Murumbi was the collector. But I'll tell you, this one talks about human dignity. There's no reason to kill somebody's father, somebody's mother because of their nobility in the society. Murumbi grew up and saw a lot of atrocities being done. And that is why we brought up this one to talk. Even in our current constitution, we have got chapter 4, where we have got Bill of Rights. And if you go to Article 36, it talks about the human dignity. It's called the Turkanas. The Turkanas are livestock keepers. Nowadays, you don't say pastoral, because we want to avoid cattle rustling. And you can see this is their culture and ways of life. If you want to talk about an African storage facility, you can see this they were using to keep milk and all that. Down here, you can be able to see that gentleman supporting his head. Yes. That is an example of an African pillow. It puts his head in an advantageous position so that he can see attackers coming. If you talk about an African fridge, you can see that small guard down there. Yes, because that is for after milking, they get fat from the milk that is called ghee, and it was kept there, it will stay for a long time. We also, if you talk about female genital mutilation, it is a problem in the society. We have to keep the knife so that the scholars who are doing research on that can be able to ascertain. It is funnily enough that women ladies in Turkana, they don't cover their bust. Yeah, they leave it open. I think that is part of their culture. But I think the men in those areas, surely they respect the people, the ladies. Yes, they respect in the society. I cannot leave this place without talking about the ostrich eggshell, which is found. Ostrich eggshell, after eating what is inside, they can use the shell to make an African innerwear, which is just here beside us here. This is an African innerwear. So it tells us where we have come from. Nowadays we put on a boxer, but this one was, they use that one because the ostrich eggshell is very heavy.
So this one is used, it's made from the
ostrich eggshell and the skin of a small animal that like a rabbit.
Strong.
Yeah, to make sure that the wind does not remove it from here. Wow. And it's used to cover the most important part of the body. You can see the art here actually, and this is for fishing. This one is a Turkana harpoon. Yeah, which means they are also fishermen. Yeah. So when the river has busted and the fish has been brought at the doorstep of the fisherman, they don't have to go to the lake. They just use this to stab the fish, and this one is for putting the stock that has been gathered. Then they take it back home. Still on the Turkanas, you can be able to find these are African tracking. Yeah, when you have got a rock bull, you put on this on their neck so that you can be able to identify my rock bull is in somebody's compound. This is made from the tortoise shell. The tortoise is no longer there, that's why we call a shell. And it can be used to hang on the small animals. This other one is for the camels, livestock keepers. The lead camel can use this one when they are going to the slaughterhouse to cheat the other ones. So they follow the sound. And the lead camel is never slaughtered. Its work is to lure these other ones to that area. Because they walk from one place to another looking for greener pasture. So sometimes when they see the rain gathering, the clouds are gathering, they call, because they leave the men, they leave the children and women and plus the old men behind. So this is a prayer session, praying for the rainfall to come so that the people that went far can now come back and join their family members. This one is a nimat. Nimat, because in African society, people had to kneel down in front of a king, wishing them long life. So you don't kneel on a bare ground. So they put this down so that it's called a nimat. It's made from Raffian fibers plus also some velvet. And you can see the art there. I really just want to, you can come like this, then we go that way. Then actually we go like this now, seriously. So you can be able to see, this is Somali rope. It's made from the skin of an animal. This one can be used to tie even a ship, a docking ship. It is very strong. Yes, this one is for plowing. This is common in Africa. Yes, this is the hoe and the metal. This is still that one. This one is for branding of animals. When you have got, your goats are the same. So to avoid people fighting for goats, they do branding. This is an African way of reducing dispute in the society.
That's the diagram.
Yes, because of the love between the mother and the child. That's why they use the same material making the child. So which means the child must also give back to the mother after succeeding in life. You have to remember the back that carried, not only the Mercedes. Sure. This is for a donkey. It's meant for this. A donkey is the beast of burden, but we don't put a very heavy load on top of a donkey. You put it on top. You put this for easy balancing. This is an African water jug. It's made from the skin of a giraffe. And you can see Africans, we are really having our own items. as you can be able to see. Very strong.
Had culture.
Yes, and there's no, you cannot get cancer using some of these things.
Sure.
Yes. Beside you here, this is an example of an African storage facility. They can put water here. Actually, sometimes they also call a fridge. Or they can put alcohol during a beer party, and then they consume when they are all together. What you see here, these are African heritage, actually African textile. If you talk about the kente dress is the famous Ghanaian dress, and it is very much prestigious, and that's why we have to have a corner for it to show a cloth like this. For example, if you see the statue of Tom Mboya outside there, where he was assassinated, Tom Mboya used to have this fabulous dress. This one is a dress of prestige. After putting it, now you can look like this and show how great you are. These are very nice African dresses. Let us also see, if you talk about roots, it is important for you to understand your roots. Like this one is the Bambara people are found in Mali. And the way you see President Obama, before he started campaigning in America, he had to come to look at his roots. He knows where his father comes from, and he found his father comes from Kenya. Only that I don't want to say Obama is my cousin, but he found his roots in Kenya. So this one shows that you have to understand your root. Who was your great-great-grandfather? So that you don't just grow there, you don't know where you come from. So this can, for example, you can see this is the main person that gave birth to all these people, your descendants, to share African spirit of sharing. It is put in one place and people share it using the straws. Kambas are found in eastern part of this country, and they were long distance traders. Apart from that, they are craftsmen. For example, you can see this is clay work done by the Kambas. Actually, you can identify one item. You can see two people who are graciously aging together. That is, they are graciously, those are old people. Yes, they are comparatively in some places when the woman gets old, a man will want to get a new lady, a young one. But that's the spirit. They are aging graciously with a lot of happiness. That is the clay work. We also have got the African stool. This is for the Kamba still, but the main gentleman can sit here and he talks to the grandchildren around the fire, passing information. Kambas were also very good in crafting. This is now wooden. Actually, you can see ivory. Yes, but the ivory that is here, we use it now. Nowadays, if you are found poaching, you are arrested and you are given a life imprisonment. So that's said and done. This is Tanzania. Tanzania, they believe that you don't work, actually talk about socialism. You don't have to work for putting on a tie for somebody, but you can work as a group, and then whatever you get, you share. It actually talks about equitable distribution of resources, but you can see a population holding themselves and they work together and they share. In Kenya here, they call it harambe, whereby you collect tax, and then it goes to the national level, and then now the national government must see how it is redistributed back to the people. This is the Kikuyu culture. This one talks about how Kikuyus came to be. Long time ago, we have a gentleman called Mr. Agikuyu, and you can see Mr. Agikuyu is very sad, and because you can see the way she is like this. She's sad because he only gave birth to 9 daughters. And this is the woman. This is Mumbi. You can see the head of Mumbi and the breast of Mumbi here. So this is the Mumbi as the woman. And then the 9 daughters that they gave birth to that made Mr. Gikuyu unhappy, they're represented by the breast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that one, yes. And those gentlemen that usually here, the men that came from nowhere, and every man picked, but they went to Madam Mumbi to request for permission. So these are the gentlemen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this one tells you how up from there, the Mr. Gikuyu disappeared. He was swallowed. And up to date, they talk about House of Mumbi, not House of Agikuyu.
And Mumbi.
Yes. And the woman is portrayed to be powerful in the Kikuyu culture. If you see a straight homestead where children are going to school properly, it is there because of the tough woman.
Wow.
Yes. Beside here, this is gold. Actually, remember I talked about the Ghanaian kente dress. Yes. Now you can easily see it here. And if you talk about coronation, African, how a king is made to become a king, just the British people, they do coronation of their kings. This is what is called a golden stool. It is a Shentahene golden stool. They sit the king here and they stand the king here during coronation of African king. And you can see the use of gold. Gold actually in Ghana was used as money, and gold is a valuable item that you can be able to see. And you can actually see these are the measurement of putting the gold, and you can see the king enjoying the treasuries of Ghana. And it's very expensive. She's surrounded, everything is goldish. Yeah. You can see the Shentahene golden stool. Exactly. The king cannot even step down. The king must put a comfortable feet. And this is for measurement of the gold. Yeah, if you want to measure which you want, scoop with this, or definitely sometimes they give it in form of items.
So these are real gold?
Yes, actually, because of our diversity, sometimes we don't like telling the cost of this, because some people will start getting appetite here unnecessarily. But it is actually, let me say, they are real.
Wow.
Yes. So depending on the value of the gentleman, or if they are paying dowry. For example, somebody can say, my lady has got 4 degrees, my lady cannot be exchanged just by the four cows and 2 goats. No, as they do in the olden days. If the person is more valuable, like that one you see is a whole King Bobo, which means if that could be your value, then if like this is a flute. So they were using them depending on the value of what they are going to exchange in that business. But the ideal is that gold was used in Africa as money. And this is the African lost work casting. Beside you here, we have got, this is African kitchen, whereby this, for example, this is the Kamba calabash. And when I tell you these things are priceless, for example, this guard you see here talks about the origins of the Kamba from Mount Kilimanjaro. And you can see whenever they were living, which kind of food they were eating, how they were living is shown on this calabash. So when we lose this, and the person who made this even died long time ago, that's why we protect these things with a lot of jealousy. Wow. It's better we go at loggerheads, because I've found you touching this thing.
You cannot duplicate
exactly it. And we cannot get it. If you talk about Kambas doing their marriage system, because you don't take somebody's daughter for free. So if you have finished paying the dowry, they will show it from here that now say the woman belongs to you. The Kambas line going to Chadi. Yes, correct. So this one, and they go repeatedly depending to show that if you increase a child, they add something. So it shows the end of appreciation of a woman in marriage. They use it on marriage. This is an African cooling system. You can see, sir, it's a guard, but it's split in two. Now it's called calabash. Actually in Kamba they call it nzele. I like that. So when you can use this to cool porridge very fast, and you give a child to go back to school. Contrary, when you give in a cup made of iron, cooling will be difficult. When we talk on African administration, the leader could sit on this is an African stool. Some of them are 4-legged like this one, but some of them are 3-legged. Or when you talk about African ways of administering justice, the judge who want to give the ruling, they call them barasa la wazee. They can sit like, and then pass a ruling. Sometimes this is now a 3-legged stool. So this one actually give an example of how government works. Government has got 3 arms: judiciary, executive, and parliament. So this one tells you that these arms of government, they are supposed to work together. If one arm of government pulls out, the other two cannot be able to continue. And that's why no arm of government is superior more than the other. So I use it even politically when I see the executive interfering with other arms of government. And then this is, we can explain that one. Even if you see another leader talking about he wants a three-legged dialogue, which means, for example, the way Kalonzo said, he must be here, Raila is here, Uhuru Kenyatta is here, which means he knows very well when he pulls out of the talk, these two people cannot continue. So the African stool is used proverbially in most cases. This is a horn of a cow or any animal, but they are used as cups in African society. For example, they can put alcohol here, drink it, and use it to bless the new initiative. During Corona time, Corona has refused such kind of action, but it was a way of appreciating, of welcoming a child from childhood to adulthood. So, and this is also for putting alcohol in African traditional society. This is an African kitchen, and actually you cannot, if you use these things, you cannot get cancer. Comparatively, the way we nowadays use plastic, which are dangerous. Marians are also found in eastern part of Kenya. This is an wooden sculpture. It portrays, for example, what you can see here, this is a newly born child. And this, the mother of this child, these are the hands. So the mother of this child is protecting this child from African sorcery. What you see this other side, this is an owl. An owl is a bird in Africa that talks about bad evil, and actually we don't eat it. So it represents death. So let us just summarize this issue. This other side where there's the child represents life. This side represents death, which means when you are there, you expect, when you are living, you also expect. In short, it tells Marians, like Marians are usually highly tempered people. So it was created to show that whenever you are in your glory moment, you are enjoying, do it cautiously. This other side usually visits without notification. Are we together? Yes. So that's an wooden sculpture. This one is stony, and it is called Kisii soapstone. It is collected in Kisii area, and this one talks. This is a newly born baby bird. This bird has come from this eggshell. This is the beak of the bird, and this is the head of this bird. These are the wings of the bird. So what it portrays, that the bird is struggling with life. It is struggling to walk. It is struggling to fly. It is struggling from even animals like an eagle. So the bottom line is struggling. So when I want to talk about what Kenyans went through at the peak of independence, eradication of poverty, eradication of illiteracy, eradication of diseases, that was the manifesto. So this is what explain. If I don't want to take you to read books, I can easily explain that using the artifacts. So artifacts are also records, in short. Yes, I want us to go and see the African mask and African weapons. The way you were putting on Corona, a mask, is different from, it's not much different from the African mask. These are masks found in a country called Congo, and they were used by the Bakuba people, and they represent actually how they used to defend themselves using this mask, or to avoid a particular scenario. For example, this is an initiation mask. They are worn by young boys when they are going to face the knife. The exercise is done when people are naked. So to help the child from humiliation, because people are coming and seeing naked and they laugh going away. So they put this on their head so that you see down here, but you cannot be able to know who is this. Are you together? So it helps the child from humiliation. This one also is a funeral mask worn by the widows on a material day for burial. because a widow has to lose the breadwinner, the husband. So to avoid people seeing her struggling with the tears, you see that? So they give her this, and this one, if the tears become too much, she can use this flap, this cloth here, to wipe the tears. In the modern society, they still do the same, but they don't put on this. They put on black tinted goggles and they ask for a serviette. So
which country did you say?
This is the Congo. The Bakuba people are found in DRC Congo.
Which year?
These were used long time ago during
Very
colonial
long
times.
1800s.
18 going down actually.
Even 17.
Going 18,
BC.
Yes, 18th century going down.
Wow.
So which means whatever you are struggling to do now had been done with our people, but in different way. We only do modification. If you talk about polygamy, nowadays polygamy is African culture whereby somebody marries very many women. They were using women to create wealth. They were doing it in a very noble idea. And actually nowadays it's difficult because there's no resources. But if you have got one wife, 2 or 3 or 4, you are not polygamous. You must have from 5 women going onwards. So when they used to go to women, this person is having 5 women, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The middle one is the first one. So when they're organizing the men's conference, they put on a particular adornment to show who is more person who has got very many women. So all this mask, that one you see up there, is a mask of a noble person in society. Is having the trump, elephant trump. He has put beards here. You know, see nowadays people put a lot of beards on their chin here. So these things are long. So that is a noble person that people depend on the society. And actually you can be able to see this is a moonlight, this is still polygamous. That's a mat that was used. Nowadays you have got mats, but we have got original mats made from Rastafarian. So this is a cloth that was worn by ladies when they are dancing for the king. The way you see people dance for the president at the airport, those things had been done long time ago. You don't dance. You dance in a particular attire that make that person happy. In the current situation, you can find them dancing, adorning the colors of that political party. It's the same thing there. This is polygamous, but these are women. This is the first woman, this is the second wife, and this is the third wife. And this one explains how they fighting for that one man. So to the man, sometimes you can see an artistic expression of the second wife here.
Yeah.
She has got condition that her hair must be calcated. You can see the nose. You can see the teeth. That teeth explains how she's fighting the first wife. You can see elongated tongue. These are not mangoes from Ukambani. These are abusive language, abusive language that she throws towards the first wife. The first wife has got a very big head because she has got long foundation with that person. The man loves all of them. So to show that, the man will add another young lady to neutralize. So they'll know that this man belongs to all of us.